Original post, May 9, 2024. Long story short, when I was 10 my parents got divorced due to my father cheating with some women at his office. After the divorce my father got married to that same woman, and they had my half-siblings. In the divorce, my mother gained primary custody of me, and my father would visit on the weekends and would sometimes pick me up. I won't lie, I never liked my stepmother not one bit. She was the reason my parents left, and I also blame my father too, so anything I would stay at my father's house. I would also get into a lot of fights with her, and even after my half-siblings came this woman got more bitter towards me. To the real story, my mother started to date this guy named Chuck, and things were getting really serious between them. He would spend the nights over, and he is always nice, so I kind of like him. 2 weeks ago, my father was dropping me back home, and he saw Chuck leaving the house, and he started throwing a whole set of questions. "Father, who is that?" "Me, oh, Mom's new boyfriend." "Father, oh, I didn't know she was dating." And many others. So after the question he left, and I thought it was over, but 4 days ago I was over by my father for dinner, and I was telling him something about Mom's work, and somehow the conversation changed to him asking about Chuck again, and I was giving him short answer. Like he was getting angry cause of my hesitant answers, and he yelled that I wasn't telling him everything and how could my mother date. I was dumbfounded, and I yelled back why he was so concerned about her personal life. It's not like they were together anymore. Then he said some nonsense about safety, and I may have been wrong about this. I said if he hadn't cheated on her maybe he and her would still be together. We continued back and forth until I was told to leave, which I did. Since then I haven't spoken to my father. I have gotten a few calls from my stepmother saying that I had no right saying those things to my father, and he was looking out for my safety. I just wanted to know if I was an asshole for saying that. Relevant comments. Comment 1, not the asshole. Oh, I so hope your stepmom was there to hear how interested and jealous your dad was in your mom's new BF. Maybe you should bring it up again in front of her? And the audacity of that man to be angry when he literally cheated on her. Sorry, but your dad is kind of a clown, but I think you already know that. Comment 2, not the asshole. Your dad shouldn't ask anything about your mom. It's not his business anymore. Try to be as civil as you can when you are with your dad, and when the law allows you, stay with your mom. Better for your mental health. Update 1, May 19, 2024. Hello everyone, I came back to give a little update. Well, after the incident with my father I told my mother, and she was upset about the questioning and him putting me out after the argument, and if he had any problem with my safety he should have come to her. And she kind of scolded me for yelling back at him. To the actual part of the update, yesterday my father came over at the behest of my mother because she wanted to talk. First she sat me down with him, to let him and I know that it was safe for me to be around Chuck, because she and Chuck worked together. Then told my father if he had any concerns he should have brought it up to her rather than question me for answers, and that whoever she dates or is romantically involved with isn't any of his business. Because other than a co-parenting relationship anything she does outside doesn't concern him or anyone else. I was made to apologize to my father for yelling at him. My father seemed to be cool with everything my mother was saying. My mother also told him to let his wife never call or text if it's not some emergency, and not to enter their co-parenting relationship, which she has no part being in. I could see my father didn't like this, but his comments were quickly shut down. I saw a few comments I would like to address. I fully understand what some people were saying about him generally worrying about me being safe, because I would too if a random adult man was spending the night in the same house with my 16-year-old son. Because I can say my father would die before anything happens to me. Secondly, some were saying that he was jealous. Well, I can't say for sure if he was, but some of the questions he had asked me hinted at a jealousy vibe, and I'm fully aware when he saw my mother and Chuck something clicked for him. For example, how often would he spend the night? Where would he sleep, or is he sleeping in your mother's bedroom? How often does he take your mother out? Does he help with anything in the house? Do they have sex when he is over? And more personal questions I wouldn't want to repeat. I'm currently packing to spend a few days with him at my mother's behest. But thank you for your comments and thoughts. Story 2, my dad remarried and I've lost everything to my step-siblings. Original post, May 14, 2016. My dad married my stepmother 3 months ago and I feel like it made my life significantly harder and less pleasant. They moved in with us, and for the indefinite future this situation will not change. We have a 3-bedroom house, and before they moved in, my dad and I had our rooms, both with bathrooms, and there was a smaller room which was a study for my dad. After they moved in, Jenny, 16 turning 17, got my room, and I had to share the smaller room with Tom, 11 male, and Mike, 10 male. All my books, my telescope, and my stuff are packed in the basement now since there's no space anymore. This made me really angry, But my dad told me that I have to be a team player, and this is what him and his wife agreed on. Jenny treats me like crap. She sometimes acts as if I'm not there at all, and sometimes is super aggressive and hostile towards me. The other I asked Tom to stop going through my things, and she became so angry that I have no right to order her brother around. She told me to get it in my thick skull that I'm not their big brother to tell them what to do, even though all I asked was for them to stop going through my things. She said it's best if I don't talk to them at all, since that way they will get less influence from a weirdo like me. What I don't get is that if she's so concerned that I might leave a bad influence on Tom and Mike, why doesn't she take them into her room? Tom and Mike don't respect any boundaries. They're always through my stuff. I have a watch which was a gift from my mother. She died of cancer, and they took it from my drawer and lost it. I found it weeks later in the basement with its front glass broken. Before they moved in, I used to get a $100 allowance every month. Now Jenny gets $75, I get $35, and Tom and Mike each get $30. I had an Xbox, but these kids broke it. I used to spend a lot of time with my dad. He used to come see me play basketball almost every week. He hasn't done it even once in the past 3 months since he's always working overtime. We eat out once a week, and none of them in these 3 months have been to any of my favorite places, but Jenny, Tom, and Mike have each chosen their favorites more than once. I complained about all of it to my father last week, and he told me that family is all about sacrifices, and I have to make mine. Haven't I made enough sacrifices already? I feel like I'm the only one making sacrifices. I looked forward to them moving in here, but I now feel like an outsider at home. It's not my home anymore. Life has become very difficult for me. I spend as much time as I can outside because inside is so frustrating, but this is causing problems as well. My dad keeps telling me that not being around means I'm not accepting them as part of the family, while in reality, it's the opposite. So I get grounded for not being around, and being around is horrible. I don't want to live here anymore, but I'm only 15 and can't move out. I have nobody else who can take me in. I can't stay here for 3 more years. I'll go crazy. I often fantasize about running away at night, but I know that's also as horrible, if not even more. I don't know what to do. Can anyone give me a suggestion? TLDR, father remarried, and his wife and 3 kids moved in. They've taken over my room, my things, my space, my budget, and treat me horribly. I feel frustrated and very unhappy here. I don't know what to do to make my life a little easier. Relevant comments. Comment 1. It sounds like Jenny is the biggest problem. If she's 17, is the plan for her to move out soon? Maybe you can talk to your dad about getting your own room and having the 2 younger boys share. OP, she's not going to move out. She will live at home when she goes to college. Parents already have given her permission to do this. Comment 2, I'd show him this post. Maybe if he sees how strangers are sticking up for you than your own father, it might change his tune. Comment 3, first of all, who came up with the stupid idea of giving 3 people the smaller room and your stepsister the larger one? Your father really needs to get his mind straight. Yes, you have to make some sacrifices, but so do the other children. He does not want to discipline them though to look good in front of your stepmom, but that needs to stop. Did you tell him about the watch? Breaking such an important piece of memory is extremely rude. Try to stand up for yourself as well as you can and call them out on their behavior. Maybe your stepmother will finally start to say something. Apart from that, the age gap of 1 year to your stepsister justifies a $40 difference, whereas the 4 and 5 year age gap to your stepbrothers justifies a $5 difference? OP, they thought since Jenny is older she needs more personal space and her own bathroom. I disagreed but was eventually told to deal with it. Update 1, June 3, 2016. Okay. A lot has happened. I decided to just ask my dad and stepmother for some time to talk to them, and I just showed them my post on Reddit. They took a good half hour reading it. There were times that it looked like they were going to start crying. Eventually, they told me that they need more time, and we'll talk about it in a couple of days. 2 nights later, my dad asked me to come to their room, and to make it short, they got it. They both hugged me, and at some point, my stepmother started crying. They apologized to me for their negligence and told me that they messed this up. They put all their attention and focus on helping my step-siblings adjust given the new living arrangement and everything, and neglected how difficult it must have been for me. They promised me that things will change. About the room arrangement, they realized that it's not reasonable. So they offered me the basement as a lot of you suggested. We went to the store and bought a lot of supplies and made it a family exercise for everyone to contribute to refurbishing the basement and making it like a bedroom. So I'll have my own room now. It won't have a bathroom like before, but I can really share a bathroom with the boys. That's not a problem. The money allowance changed as well. It was Jenny $75, me $35, and Mike and Tom $30 each. Now it's Jenny $60, me $50, and the boys $30 each. So $15 from Jenny comes to me now. I think it's much more fair. It's not as good as the $100 I used to have, but this arrangement is something I can easily understand and accept. Now to Jenny. Well, my stepmother told me that Jenny's problem is not me. It's that her mother married, and she doesn't like that because she was hopeful that she would return to her dad. Now she's trying to make this not work and I'm just in her crosshairs. Apparently, she's been rude to my dad as well. She promised me that she will handle Jenny and make sure she won't be a problem. Now to the boys. This is the most difficult one as they're 10 and 11. They gave me a small lock so I can lock my bag for now, and when the basement is ready, which will be in a couple of weeks, I can lock its door and only me and the parents will have the key. So at least my stuff will be safe. About other things, they also made little changes to make things easier. They told me that I can come to them for any problems and my dad promised me some father-son time every couple of weeks as well. I was happy with everything. They addressed most of the issues and found solutions and so far done their best to do everything that they promised. Jenny came to me a few nights later and asked if I would come with her for a walk in the neighborhood as she wanted to talk to me. So we went and she apologized to me for everything and told me that she didn't and still doesn't like that her mom married my dad and she was forwarding her anger and frustration towards me, which was not right. She said that I'm probably going through similar things as she does and really there's no reason for us to make each other's lives even more difficult than it already is. So, I accepted her apology and we shook hands on being on the same team from now on. And honestly, she's been very different ever since. She's helping me a lot in preparing the basement and she makes Tom and Mike help as well. The other day when I asked Tom to turn down the TV volume and he refused, she told him to listen to your big brother. Yeah, good things. I hope she remains this way. Overall things are a lot better. I trust my stepmother a lot more now. Jenny is much better than before and we're becoming more and more like a family and the place looks and feels like home again. Thanks for all your suggestions and help. I owe you all a lot. TLDR, showed parents the original post. They got it and decided to make things right. I'm getting the basement now, I'm getting more allowance, my stepmother talked to Jenny and she's much better. I'm going to get some alone time with my dad every 2 weeks. Most of the problems seem to have been sorted out as best as they could have been. I'm really glad OP's parents came to their senses because that bedroom situation was not fair. Like the allowance split wasn't fair, but making a 15-year-old share a bedroom with some 10-year-olds he doesn't even know is not okay at all. Also if the 16-year-old needs space, why doesn't the 15-year-old need space? Anyway, I'm glad OP's parents came to their senses, but they are still massive assholes for taking so long. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.